All right, it's 8:11 now at News Talk 96.5 KPEL, coming off a big election night. We covered it here for you. Good morning, and shout out to our friend Caitlin Sprague, who handled everything for us on the digital side. By the way, if you had the KPEL News app, you got the returns first, including the news that the charter amendment passed. Carlee Alm-LaBar with the group Fix the Charter is here. And who was the first to overdose on smoked meat at the party on Saturday night?
I think we were all right there.
Okay, so a bunch of people were there. We had you on several times to talk. We had Kevin Blanchard on. We had a little bit of a debate. And I think what was so interesting, which is why I love having the KPEL platform, is that we can really talk out issues. And right. When we had Kevin on, we had Andy Hebert, who had great points. You know, it brought to light what the questions really were. Okay, right. And so then we did get to ask about some of the language, and we did get to say, so what about the criticism that it's not enough, that this doesn't do anything? Well, the voters decided like this was at least a step forward into hopefully something that's better. So how do you feel today?
Obviously, we feel great. I think the message that we sent Saturday night once the results were announced was that we feel like this is the beginning of the work, right?
Yeah.
Not the end.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people, hundreds, maybe thousands that put time and energy into getting the amendment passed, but now we immediately pivot into the transition for a new form of government. So I think that I think those of us that advocated that this was a better form of government for Lafayette feel just as much responsibility to make sure that this form of government works for us. So I think that's what we're shifting to.
Is at least better, too.
Right.
We were talking to Troy Wayman from one Acadiana, and, I'm here to just bring the humor, okay? And I said, so basically if Lafayette had a relationship status, it's not single today. It's complicated.
Right.
But hopefully it's a little bit better.
Right.
And
for sure.
What about the conversation about a mayor? Is that, because that hasn't gone away. Now we have the two sides. We're kind of halfway there. There will be those who say, even on Monday morning, okay, I voted for this. Now can we start advocating for adding a mayor?
And I think that conversation will persist, but I think one of the things that I have thought about is what we did, and I think it was actually, maybe Kevin Blanchard on your show that said it, when we had the deconsolidation vote in 2011, that was like the equivalent of the divorce, right? And that failed, and people said, no, we don't want to do that. We want to work this out. We want to try to have this form of consolidated government. And so I think that to the extent that this is like a marriage counseling where this is the best way to try to make consolidation work. I think that when you really start to talk about a mayor, you're really re-entering the conversation of deconsolidation, which is something that we may talk about. But I think it's important that, again, those of us that work to put these amendments, to the voters and ask for their support, we want to try to make consolidation work.
Yeah, and I think maybe we go a term or two with this two councils. Who knows? Maybe a full divorce then might seem like, okay, we now have the courage to do it, and maybe that's what happens. I mean, we would all just be guessing right now to see.
Right, exactly.
So the process starts. I believe there's a date in August, which is when folks must qualify to be a part of both of these councils. They will both really all be new people, right? I mean, everyone's up at the same time, correct?
Everyone's up at the same time. I think there are 5 current city parish council members who will be eligible to run for, in some cases, only the parish council, in some cases, the city or the parish council, whichever they choose.
Okay.
I think one of the big differences that you'll see probably as we go into the election season is folks that are running for parish council are going to be talking about really different issues than folks that are running for city council, which I think was one of the reasons that we felt that this needed to happen, because we think that the parish and the city do have different issues and different concerns, and some of those were being neglected in our current form of government.
So explain it like a third grade level, because I keep seeing the debate already about, like you kind of mentioned, is someone eligible for just the city council or someone who's eligible for both or some... Tell me how that works.
So if you live in Lafayette Parish,
okay,
you can run for the parish council.
Okay.
And you'll be in one of 5 districts, depending on where your address is which district you would be eligible to run in.
Because you still will have to live in your district like the current rules.
Correct.
Right, okay.
If you live inside the incorporated city of Lafayette, then you can run for the city council.
Yes.
Because you live in the city of Lafayette.
Yes.
If you don't live in the city of Lafayette, then you can't run for the city council.
Because just as our good friend Warren says on Winging It Wednesday, show me an inch of Lafayette that's not in Lafayette Parish. which is,
Right.
kind of what we...
One of the things as we were talking to people and trying to help because it's a complex issue.
Yes.
So trying to help
It's
people
complicated,
understand.
yes.
So one of the things that we would tell people is think about if the city of Lafayette just was still called Vermilionville, right? That was its original name.
Mm-hmm.
So if you live in Vermilionville, then you can run for the Vermilionville City Council, right?
Yes.
It's the same idea.
Yes, but Vermilionville is within the parish.
Right.
Just like if you live in Scott or if
Yes.
you live in Broussard or Youngsville,
Yes.
you can run for a parish council seat.
Yes.
I asked for third grade, I got first grade, and I feel good about it.
Well, and it all makes sense. My question is, you've accomplished this, and I think this is a big step to Lafayette having its own representation and to people really focusing on the needs of the parish, which was sorely missing. So what do we do next? Do we do a better job of more consolidation for the services, or do we start finding ways to separate some other pieces of consolidation to get better representation?
I actually think you're probably going to see both. And
Okay.
I think that this year's budget process is going to be like a real focus on that. You're still going to be dealing with one council, but I think that these issues are going to start to come to light because of the council races that are happening, and people are going to be talking about what are the core needs and issues of the parish, what are the things that maybe haven't been happening in the city because we haven't had the focus. And so I think, to your point, in some ways you're gonna be looking at consolidated services and you're gonna say, can we do that more efficiently? And then you're gonna be looking at other things and you're gonna say, well, the parish should be thinking about that on its own. And that's where I think the accountability comes in, and what this form of government will lead to conversations that probably should have been happening all along.
So basically, in our marriage, we just have separate bedrooms, but we're still living in the same house.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we like each other. Like, we're not mad at each other in separate bedrooms. You just like the TV too loud.
Well, and you snore.
And you snore.
Sure.
So that, I snore, you like the TV too loud.
Right.
So we just have our own separate spots.
So we can be better roommates because we're not annoying the heck out of each other every night.
But because we live in the same house, we can equally be the manager of that house.
Well, now,
you just
because
can't be the manager of my room.
Youngsville and Broussard already had their own bedrooms, but we were having to share, and so now everybody's got their own bedroom.
Yes.
I like it.
No, you got to sleep in the Oval Office. Well, actually, that brings up a whole bunch of
Yeah, you just crossed the
90s
line.
things. Anyway, okay. Well, Carlee Alm-LaBar, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
I know it was a hard fought win. There was a lot of questions, and kudos to your people because there were so many different people. We heard a lot of the same voices on the anti side, and I think they'll come around. And I think because ultimately we all still live here, so you could choose
And we
not
all still love Lafayette.
Yeah, you can
right?
choose not to come around, but you still live here.
Right.
On the Fix the Charter side, there were a lot of different people who were involved in question and answers. There was a Reddit thread earlier this week that it read better than a Young and the Restless script. I mean, really.
It was quite
if we
the
could turn
drama.
that into a movie. But I just love that people are that passionate. Trust me, these sorts of things in other parts of the country, they just go away. They just happen because, no one really cares, but I think everyone really does care. So anyway, congratulations again. Thanks for coming
Appreciate
in.
the time.
And we'll be talking to you. Don't think you're going to just walk away now because we have a lot to talk to
A lot of
we
work
get to
to
the
do.
elections and everything else. So,
Right.
All right, great.
All right, thanks.
Carlee Alm-LaBar. Kevin Blanchard, by the way, is here. However, I couldn't coax him off the couch in the lobby. He was really comfortable out there.
It's really comfortable couch.
Miss Janet was apparently keeping him company and everything else. So thanks so much, Carlee. Good to see you. It's 8:19. Coming up, we're going to talk to Stephen Wagasback from LABI about, Jackie, does this even stand out to you? Act 109 from the session back in 2015 has been ruled unconstitutional
It's my
by the state
favorite
Supreme
act.
Court.
I have no recollection of that
A
one.
lot of actors. We'll talk to Stephen Wagasback from LABI next.